first week or something like that is how that works. So our pheasant season, it's open. Like, no matter who we're.
Hey, Jeb, if you're listening, go ahead and send a text in.
All right, we're going to do a Grind My Gears program today.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Just because...
Hey, Clay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Clay, I think Todd sounded pretty good. That whole recording there he did of the show yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get a chance. Mine, I don't know what happened at the end of that. It was on the iHeart. It was on the iHeart link, though. I can tell you that. I checked my stuff. It wasn't on my stuff. So.
Huh, okay. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
I forgot. I'm playing with my phone system. I know there's a way I can balance you guys out through the phone, and I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh. What do you mean balance?
Like, Jamie, you're a little bit quieter than Clay because you're on a cell phone.
Okay.
And just driving and stuff, there's some background noise. Plus, you got those sperm-looking earbuds thing in your ears. And I'm trying to boost you up here a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out. I've never played with it before, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Sperm-looking, huh? That's a good one.
Well, those Apple iPods, those white things hanging out of your ear, it reminds me of there's something about Mary when the guy had that stuff hanging off his ear.
Yeah.
Every time I see people with those in, that movie comes to mind every single time.
I'm gonna remember that. I'll just call them my sperm buds from now on.
I think I'm gonna buy the Milwaukee ones I seen on the old TikTok.
Really?
I think those.
Okay,
they're. I like the looks of them. I like the little bit better ear cups that they come with. I think they're.
Like, what do you mean, like? The rubber ones that go in your ears?
Yeah, they fit. They kind of mold to your ears a little bit better.
All right, I'm going to give you a Grind My Gears right now. I don't like those because when I wear those at work, then I can't hear people talk to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying I understand that, but like for what I do out here, there's nobody else around. So
you got me there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like when I'm in the tractor or the semi or whatever like that, be a little easier for me to hear.
Is that OSHA approved then?
Yep. They sure are.
By the way, I'm home. I'm broadcasting to our stuff too, so
okay.
That way, if anyone wants, they can see it there.
I actually had a cop at a stoplight once. I looked over and he was staring at me and he told me to roll my window down. So I did. He goes, "You can't have earbuds in when you're driving." And I said, "Would you rather I talk on my phone or would you rather me do it hands-free?" "Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were listening to music." And I said, "No, they're for talking."
That's not right. You can have earbuds in, can't you?
It's not according to this guy.
Interesting.
He thought I was, because he was just eyeballing me and I kept looking over at him and finally, like, roll your window down and gesture,
Maybe recognize you from your media streams.
Well, I thought he was going to say, "Hey, Guns of the 701 kicks ass," but he didn't. We back to G&T 701. We back to blue.
Hey, my buddy Jay says, "Isn't that the purpose at work, to tune everybody else out?"
Yeah,
damn right.
I like the guys I work with, so.
He said, "I need a set for shoot side to drown out some of the owners." He does all the AIing and ultrasounding. So I don't know if it's just the certain people that I've talked to, but there's been some wrecks, like bad wrecks of not good breed up. So Jay's the bearer of bad news when it comes to good stuff. Everybody loves them. And then otherwise everybody's like, "Come on, man, stop calling opens."
Oh, yeah, a lot of opens up your way.
Certain places, man, it's been bad here. The guy telling you can't have your plugs in while you're driving is probably the same guy that has a mask on while riding by himself.
Lord. Maybe I should have pulled my sleeve up and had a Band-Aid on there like Taylor Swift's boyfriend on the commercials.
What? I don't know.
Travis Kelsey is doing a commercial. Go get your COVID shot.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
All right, stations countdown to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central Time. Top of the hour here, coming up here in shortly here. Scott Bolt. Good morning. Good to have you out of the South Dakota area. Appreciate that. 7 o'clock, straight up stations on mark. 6 minutes, gentlemen. Or as they say in the Congress, gentle women and gentlemen.
Don't assume any gender, Scott. People. Gentle
That's
people.
funny, though, because they don't want that in the nation's capital, but yet when they refer to each other with kicking the Speaker of the House out, they were referring to that as gentlemen and gentlewomen.
Wow,
yeah, isn't that funny?
Don't we have one in the Senate now, though, because of Gav Dog there in California? Gave us a tranny.
I have no idea. I don't keep track of transvestites.
Well, he appointed a new senator after Di-Fi kicked the bucket.
Yeah, I have no idea. Wouldn't doubt
Clay
it.
knows, he told me. I thought it was a tranny, and I think Clay said it's just somebody acting.
Coming out of San Francisco, I don't doubt anything like that.
Well, I heard she's I don't want to use the word I used on our show, but she's supposedly a lesbian. I don't know if she's a tranny, but she's definitely not with us.
Yeah. Heavy pro gunner.
Found out I'm a lesbian.
I am too.
Okay. Jay says ultrasounding this year's been good, pretty much average. Getting ready to head to Joe Vesey's today. We'll see. Been a good run so far. Good deal.
Yeah, I'll be checking mine here probably in a couple weeks.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm going to wean first. I'll probably do my heifers. I'm going to wean first, and I'm going to ultrasound on a different day, Jay, just so I know you're listening here, so I know you're the I know the dates are getting run in together. That's why I'm going to probably wait a little bit longer to ultrasound, but weaning is going to be a little earlier this year. I'm bringing them home. I'm not going to risk any of these fog days and the snowstorms like I did last year, and I'm going to get them back into my winter pasture and be done.
Don't blame you there.
Can you have a pistol? Can you have a pistol grip on a shotgun for hunting?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
I don't know why you can't.
Yeah.
When I hunted, that's what I had. Game warden looks at it kind of sideways, but it's legal.
Yeah.
Said get a bolt action.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Make him really look sideways.
What's that, Clayton?
Make him really look sideways then be like, what in the world?
Yeah. Bolt action with a, Bud Lee with a pistol grip, with a salt clip grip.
Assault grip. I think Todd Mitchell does that in the mornings.
Assault grip.
I think he's working today. I don't know if he's working or
yeah, he is. He said he was going to be member play.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that yesterday. He was going to be working this morning.
Hi, Todd.
Might have to dust off Dad's old Ted Williams shotgun. Ted Williams. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Ted Williams, World War II veteran, fighter pilot, and a baseball player, and I think he was an NRA member.
Okay.
Ah.
Must have had a shotgun named after him there at one time. Cool.
I mean, I'm thinking whoever that sent you in there, go ahead and verify that I'm right or wrong.
It's I have no clue. Eric out of Priaire, South Dakota. Yep, a few days left in October, November open, but starting to book. We'll make room for your pretty little heifers, though. Yeah, I need help getting them in. I got some bull issues in that situation. Eric says, I think it was a Winchester model.
Okay.
I think he was a Sears sports guy, too, like J.C. Higgins. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I told you guys Wednesday I had that J.C. Higgins pump from my grandpa. It's out of my mom and her husband's place, along with my single shot. I borrowed my single shot before they had other guns, and then they cocked the hammer, and they called me, and they're like, hey, what do we do with this single shot? It's loaded. I said, decock the hammer. What? How do you do that? I went out to they had it in their closet with the hammer cocked yet.
Nice.
Jeez.
So I had to show him how to decock, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys are or should have guns out here.
Mr. Mayor says JD is correct about him. So you are a walking encyclopedia this morning here. 60.
All right.
Minute 20, minute 15 to showtime. Minute 15.
Thanks, G.
Maybe that's something we need to do, Jamie. We have to do a little history review on the Ted Williams. You know, we've done that with some guns. That was one I didn't even know about.
Gee, and was Ted Williams actually an NRA member? For some reason, I thought he was, but compromiser.
You guys need to have Mr. Cox on your show.
We do. We actually talked about that.
He's a great encyclopedia of lever actions, history.
Gene has a lot of knowledge there. That's for sure. We've known Gene a long time.
He says he doesn't know if he was an NRA member or not.
All right. Well, I'd look it up.
He said, but if you pay him $250, he'll look it up.
I'll wait. Wait, cut him a check out of the account.
Stand by. Coming up here shortly, 15 seconds. Going quiet stations. Good morning and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Good to have you along here on a beautiful Saturday morning. In some areas, right? Pronghorn antelope season opened up in North Dakota yesterday. So those guys are running around here. South Dakota's been open up a week already. But today is the opener of the North Dakota pheasant season. South Dakota starts next week. I don't know why. They should just have them all start on the same time. I think it'd be a lot easier for me to, and especially those that are crossing state lines, all right, and be able to have land on both sides. Welcome to the program on great radio stations like KGFX out of Priaire, South Dakota, KOLY, Mobridge, KFYR 550, the Bismarck Mandan, KCJB out of Minot, and also the Voice of the West, KLTC. I'm Scott Bachmeier, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. This morning, we're going to grind our gears. That's right. Haven't done one of these in a long time. And the guys from the Guns in the 701, Clay Peterson, Jamie Breck, good morning, gentleman and gentlewoman.
Good morning.
I'll let you guys find out. That's how they refer to everybody in the federal side. And we were just talking about that off air before the radio listeners joined in. Is, you know, when you're watching some of this stuff in the Congress, they call it gentlemen and gentlewomen, but then they don't want genders to be labeled. So I don't understand that. That's what first off grinds my gears this morning.
That whole politically correct labeling, basically. Yeah, I agree.
I assumed you were calling me gentlewoman because you were making fun of my earbuds before we came on live here. So
I was making fun of you. I was. So Jamie, you're on your way up to the farm here to do what? Are you going to hunt some pheasant?
I'm going to walk with my friends. I'm actually going to do some filming, videoing, whatever you want to call it. Filming. Nobody uses film anymore. I'm going to video some stuff for our channel and social media stuff. But yeah, one of our sponsors and a couple of my lifelong friends there, a blind guy in North Dakota, Wyatt and Tammy, and they're listening right now. They're on their way up too. But yeah, we're going to do a lot of pheasant hunting today. Should be fun. Seen a lot of pheasants up there, so I'm looking forward to watching them guys limit out. Wyatt's got his new dog, Deuce. We're gonna give him his first go at pheasant hunting season, and like I said, it should be a great day. And I'll let you guys know how it goes. But yeah, I'm on the interstate right now. I'm about another 5 miles. I'm gonna turn north here on Highway 49.
Okay.
So hopefully I don't lose you guys.
So Jamie, if you do, that's fine here. But here's the thing: we have to explain to my audience. Because they're like, you're taking a blind guy pheasant hunting. So we have to explain this for those guys that don't understand. The blind guy sells window treatments like blinds, and he calls himself the blind guy. Right?
They got they got Braille on their shotgun.
Because I know there's people out there going, really? They're taking a blind guy pheasant hunting? That's impressive.
double barrel side by side 28 gauge CZs is what they shoot.
Yeah, pull both triggers so they can hit scatter that thing a little bit. So the question came in ahead of time: can you use a pistol grip on a shotgun while bird hunting?
Yep, I used to do it all the time when I bird hunted. Absolutely.
Now hold on, that doesn't mean it's legal.
Well, I talked to the game warden. He was right there. He didn't. Yeah, he just looked at it funny and kind of looked at me, and then he didn't say anything. So.
Okay.
Go ahead and use it.
Maybe he's looking at your ear pods.
Those weren't invented then.
Okay. So part of the grind your gears, you can text this in. If you're watching me on the YouTube live channel, you can mention things there. We got one. Mr. Mayer's got one for us. You can also text them to me at 701-425-6651. You can also call the live 800 toll-free number, I should say, 888-932-5682. That's 888-9-DAKOTA. And we can get after that here. So Gene says, J.C. Higgins makes me cry. Sears killed a lot of F in rifles to make store-brand deer rifles. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
well, I had a Sears shotgun too. My second one I ever had, 20 gauge pump. It was a Sears. I think the firing pin actually ended up going south on me. That was before I knew how to fix anything on shotgun, so I just bought a different one.
Nice.
Oh, it worked pretty good for me.
My first shotgun was out of the Coast to Coast in Elgin, North Dakota, that I actually purchased. Otherwise, I had to use a hand-me-down 410.
The 410 worked for you anyways compared to a higher gauge.
It worked. I mean, yeah, it was a single shot 410. You had to take your time and aim for one bird. I mean, here's the problem I have with my own personal problem with semi-auto shotguns or semi-auto rifles is sometimes you don't take that time to take that one good shot. You're always thinking about, I have more than one round. I'm going to pump out 3 shots here right away. And then I miss everything, right? So now, so the single shot kind of taught me patience. I think that helped.
I would agree with you. When I bird hunted, I mostly did use a single shot. And when I did try semi-auto once, I used my dad. Man, I ran through shells like they were for free. I actually sucked with that thing. Semi-automatic rifles, for whatever reason, different for me, but semi-automatic shotguns, yeah, I'm definitely a spray and pray guy with that.
How about you, Clay? What was your first shotgun?
Oh, mine was, we were talking about that the other night. To come out of Montgomery Wards, just a 12 gauge my grandpa had. That's what I started out with. It was a 12 gauge pump. And first one I bought, though, was Winchester Model 120. That's the very first one I bought myself, and I used that for years. Basically, I've always been using a pump shotgun. I'm pretty fast with it, I guess. That's what I always used when I even went trap shooting.
Yeah.
But you get that Slamfire model?
Yeah, that's what it is. No. I started the boys out, though, with single shots. I thought I wanted them to get used to a single shot in a 410. That's what we did at first. And then I moved them up to a 12 gauge eventually, and they both do. Honestly, I was kind of pretty proud of them because they both, I think, can outshoot me anymore with shotguns, which is, hey, I'll take it.
Does anybody start their kids off with a 410 anymore? Do they just start with a 20 gauge right away now?
I think it's a 20 gauge semi-autos. Most of my friends who have kids that are hunting it, most of them have 20 gauge semi-automatics.
And so there, you brought up something, the semi-automatic versus, single shot or pump.
Yeah.
I always advocate to start kids anymore with a semi-auto. Now you can control them.
Really?
Yep. I'll tell you why. After being out there and actually working with kids and especially on shotguns when I was helping out with that, they don't get the recoil, so they don't get afraid of it. And you know what? A 20 gauge semi-auto, you really don't have much of a kick at all. But don't let them shoot, a box of shells, through it like that at nothing. Make them learn just as you would with a single shot, and that's kind of what I suggest now. I've had a lot of good luck. When I took my nephew out, I did the same thing. I had a 20 gauge semi by that time, and yeah, I let him have one shot at a time, but he wasn't scared of it. I noticed that he caught on real fast and took that fear away. And plus, he was a town kid, so he'd never been around it. Maybe it's a different situation if you don't live from the city, come from the city. But I really do recommend that. I really do.
Yeah. I always thought single shot was a great way to start anybody up because, like I said before, it kind of teaches patience and accuracy a little bit. But I never thought about the kick on because you're right, semi-autos don't kick very much at all. So.
No, and you take that whole element of a kid getting afraid of a gun, and we actually started implementing them a lot in the youth programs there at the end of my career with the NRA, which I thought was a good idea.
Yeah. Jim Albers just mentioned, he says, I just bought my grandson a single shot 410. So, yes, they still make them. There's no doubt. Well, guys, we're going to come back here. We're up against our first break. So you got 5 minutes to go grab some coffee and enjoy the commercials of Dakota Prairie Outdoor sponsors here. JD, as he's known now, I still call you Jamie, and Clayton Peterson, guys from the Guns in the 701, join me this morning on Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Grind your gears. Send me what you think is grinding your gears this morning, and we'll cover them right here. Dakota Prairie Outdoors coming up after these messages. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next auction. Coming up on Tuesday, October 10th, is the Ed Williams Farm Retirement Auction out of Baker, Montana. On Wednesday, October 11th, multiple tracts of land in Bottineau County, Rolette County, Burke County, and Ward and McHenry counties. Also a farmstead in Glenburn, North Dakota. Coming up on October 18th and 19th, Pfeiffer's 18th Annual West Dakota Land Auction. For more information, go to pfeifers.com. Dakota Community Bank and Trust Foundation Female Program awards recipients with an interest-free loan to purchase 5 bred heifers and assist area youth in establishing their own cattle herd. Applicants must be youth currently enrolled in 7th or 8th grade and at least 13 years of age and must reside within a 100-mile radius of any Dakota Community Bank and Trust branch. Deadline to apply is Friday, October 13th. Contact the branch near you. The Foundation Female Program, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Motrest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
East Greets West, an annual fundraiser for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, scheduled for October 20th at the Valley City, North Dakota Eagles Club. This fun event begins with a social at 5, followed by a delicious dinner, and a very lively auction takes place following the night's keynote speaker, Jeff Gould, telling America's story. Uplifting, touching, and profound, it's a presentation that inspires listeners to consider the sacrifice and blessing of our nation's history. Tickets for this event available at northdakotakowboy.org. East Greets West, October 20th at the Valley City Eagles Club.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next auction. Coming up on Tuesday, October 10th, is the Ed Williams Farm Retirement Auction out of Baker, Montana. On Wednesday, October 11th, multiple tracts of land in Bottineau County, Rolette County, Burke County, and Ward and McHenry counties. Also a farmstead in Glenburn, North Dakota. Coming up on October 18th and 19th, Pfeiffer's 18th Annual West Dakota Land Auction. For more information, go to pfeifers.com. Dakota Community Bank and Trust Foundation Female Program awards recipients with an interest-free loan to purchase 5 bred heifers and assist area youth in establishing their own cattle herd. Applicants must be youth currently enrolled in 7th or 8th grade and at least 13 years of age and must reside within a 100-mile radius of any Dakota Community Bank and Trust branch. Deadline to apply is Friday, October 13th. Contact the branch near you. The Foundation Female Program, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
East Greets West, an annual fundraiser for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, scheduled for October 20th at the Valley City, North Dakota Eagles Club. This fun event begins with a social at 5, followed by a delicious dinner, and a very lively auction takes place following the night's keynote speaker, Jeff Gould telling America's story. Uplifting, touching, and profound, it's a presentation that inspires listeners to consider the sacrifice and blessing of our nation's history. Tickets for this event available at NorthDakotaCowboy.org. East greets West, October 20th at the Valley City Eagles Club.
Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors continues on the Saturday edition all across the fruited plains of the Dakota Territory. Got a little something in my throat there, Clay, JD. Holy cow. Man.
Yeah, I was wondering.
You know, that happens. That's how you know it's live radio. Everybody else records their programs and does it like all over the place. Not here. It's live. It's one of the, and there's a reason people do it. I could see it. It'd be nice to take a weekend off. Yeah.
Well, hey, I thought of a few things over the break there. Number one, the guy who texted you about the 410, send another message, and I'm curious what that single shot 410 cost you. And number two, the turkey guns, you can buy them anywhere at a gun shop, and they got pistol grips on them. So they sell them for hunting for that. And and number three, Clay, I got a question for you. Living on the border, Scott said the pheasant hunting season in South Dakota opens later. What if you shoot a pheasant on the North Dakota side and it falls over the border and lands in South Dakota?
You go to federal prison.
Yeah, it's funny you ask that because I've actually asked the game wardens around here about that. They don't have a clear answer for that. They don't know what to say.
Yeah. And it's not like you're intentionally going over and hunting that tree roll. I got a caller on here. Let's go to Western Frontier Insurance. Jesse Flapp, good morning.
You know what grinds my gears?
No.
Everything.
Yeah. That's
smooth tires and greasy trails.
So a little bit of background now that he was helping haul hay. And we have a very, very slimy, well, it wasn't slimy at the time, but you get like not even a sprinkle on this stuff, and it turns into just grease. And I sat on top of the hill looking through this valley, and I'm like, I had the semi, and Jesse calls me, and he's like, Scott, you better lock your in. And I'm like, okay. So I lock my differentials in, and I'm like, are you sure? Should we just wait here? And he's like, just put the hammer down. So and I'll tell you this, guys. I'll tell you this right now. This isn't a place where a semi needs to put a hammer down. It's pretty hard to get through this. And I made it through barely. And then I got to the other side, and he calls me. He's like, did you make it? I'm like, yep. He's like, I'm going. So I sat outside, and I was listening. And all I heard of his pickup is pretty soon. Here comes a phone call. I didn't make it, he said. Yeah, street tires on a pickup hauling a load of hay, so it didn't work well.
That's usually how it goes when you say just screw it and put the hammer down. I'm more often than not when I've done that, it ends up bad for me. So.
Yeah. I still have mud on the top of my stacks on my semi for that thing. So.
You probably had the advantage actually going through with a big load like that, Scott.
I don't know.
You probably got more traction, probably.
I am not.
Oh, I was loaded.
Trucker, so yeah.
I was loaded. I just had when I bought this pickup, it had brand new tires on it, but they were what I would call city tires, and I thought, well, I'll run them out. And when I was hauling hay with them on, that was just a bad decision.
You going pheasant hunting with your kids, Jesse? What do you start your kids in? Granted, your kids aren't the average size kids.
No.
All right. I mean,
I was thinking of that listening to you guys. You know, I mean, Karina turns 11 here in 4 days, No, she turns 12 in 4 days.
It's her golden birthday, by the way.
Yep, it's her golden birthday. She turns 12 on the 12th. She is just shy of 5'10" and 165 pounds at 12 years old.
Dang.
But
I
she's
can't imagine
still
why.
a 12-year-old girl. You know, so
Yeah.
I did put her on a semi-automatic 20 gauge that I borrowed from a buddy of mine. It was his youth gun when he grew up. And she was able to shoot it. The recoil wasn't the issue. Just the weight of holding the gun up was a struggle for her. She was able to hit 3-4 clay pigeons. I think I threw about 8 or 9 of them for her. She liked it. Then that was last year. So we have not shot this year. We'll see if we get out. It's going to be a nice day today. I know they're going to the pumpkin patch today, but maybe tomorrow we'll try to get out. She really likes shooting. She shot her first youth deer last year with 22-250. She'll partake in another youth season. Normal season now. We didn't go out for the youth season this year because of the weather, but she is my hunter. My 9-year-old, she just,
Your 9-year-old,
not
you're
really
a fighter.
interested. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got my first call from the principal's office the other day, Clay. I thought of you. I was going to call you. And Caitlin got picked on a recess, and she stood up for herself and dropped the hammer on some boy. So
Good for her.
yeah. I don't know if the principal was real impressed with me because I was laughing the whole time he was telling me about it, but whatever.
I'm impressed. That's great. I bet he won't pick on her again.
I was guessing not, because it sounds like there's some pretty good tears involved, but
She stood her ground. She did a great job, I tell you that.
So Jesse,
all right, boys, I'm working
hold on.
a concession stand at a volleyball game. So
Hold on, Jesse. One question. JD's got a question for
Okay.
you.
Oh, okay.
what kind of bullet you use in that 22-250 for the deer?
Funny thing is I was gonna load her up some quote unquote deer bullets, some lead pointed 55 grains. I did not have time, so we just went with the old 55 grain VMAX varmint bullet, and she dumped that doe with one shot like she hit it with a semi. So I don't know. All of the discussion and the thoughts and all this stuff on different bullets and all that for deer. Anymore, I consider deer a light-skinned animal, even mule deer.
Yep.
If you hit them and hit them right, it doesn't matter. Now, if we're talking moose or elk or bear or something like that, all right, now we got to start making sure we have the right bullet, big enough gun. But when it comes to deer, especially whitetail doe, use whatever you have. It don't matter.
Gene Cox, he said, they're all deer bullets, guys.
That's right. That's right, Gene.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, I got to work a concession stand in a volleyball tournament, boys. I'll listen to the rest of the show.
Okay, thanks, Jesse.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
Jesse.
call.
You bet.
888-932-5682. That's 888-9-Dakota. A few mentions here. Okay, we were talking about taking game and if it falls on the wrong side of the border. I got a lot of requests. I got a lot of messages here. So Matt Herman says the game warden told our hunter's ed classes that if a bird or a deer crosses the border, you cannot retrieve it. And then Brian says if you retrieve it, you end up in jail with the hardened criminals like the mattress tag pullers and such.
Love it, Brian. Fellow MVE there. So I'll give you a little insight on that. So, like I said, I've actually asked the game warden, and I've gotten conflicting answers. They don't seem around here to really know what to tell you. But I had one of them tell me that, well, probably you shouldn't cross the state border if it falls on the wrong side. And I go, okay. He said, but so then I'd be guilty of wanton waste, wouldn't I? You should have seen the look on his face then. He was very puzzled. So I actually literally, if you think about it, I literally could shoot one on the North Dakota side. And you know how deer are. If it isn't a complete heart shot, it might jump a few feet onto the other side. I mean, my land goes right up to it. So, yeah, it's an interesting question. I kind of look at it this way: what they don't know, don't hurt them, and just move on with your day.
I'm going to throw this at you. So I think some of the rules, both North and South Dakota, they allow the game wardens to kind of have their own opinion on things. Now, each person, like you and all three of us, have our own opinion on different things, which I feel in some ways is good, in some ways might not be as good. But on a case like that, it's like you live right there. Your tree row of your house, I mean, you can literally shoot a pheasant and it can land on the South Dakota border, or vice versa,
Yep.
right? So I mean, I understand that, and I think they do too. I really do. But to actually have a rule that's black and white, I think they keep it gray for a reason, and that's to let them have their own discretion about it.
And you know what grinds my gears about that, Scott? But the gray rules, I see what you're saying, and I to a point I agree. But what chaps me about one of those rules is established trails. But you can call game and fish, and they won't even tell you what it is.
Don't start with trails and me in this country, my friend.
So I tell you what, if I can see it, I said, if I can see it from Google Earth, would you consider that a trail? Boy, yeah. Said,
absolutely right, not. I hear no. We're up against the break. We're going to get into this, guys. You want trails that are established now. We'll cover that coming up our way. This is, of course, all people's opinions here. You can chime in on this too. 888-932-5682. Back after these messages. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next auction. Coming up on Tuesday, October 10th, is the Ed Williams Farm Retirement Auction out of Baker, Montana. On Wednesday, October 11th, multiple tracts of land in Bottineau County, Rolette County, Burke County, and Ward and McHenry counties. Also a farmstead in Glenburn, North Dakota. Coming up on October 18th and 19th, Pfeiffer's 18th Annual West Dakota Land Auction. For more information, go to pfeifers.com. Dakota Community Bank and Trust Foundation Female Program awards recipients with an interest-free loan to purchase 5 bred heifers and assist area youth in establishing their own cattle herd. Applicants must be youth currently enrolled in 7th or 8th grade and at least 13 years of age and must reside within a 100-mile radius of any Dakota Community Bank and Trust branch. Deadline to apply is Friday, October 13th. Contact a branch near you. The Foundation Female Program, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
East Greets West, an annual fundraiser for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, scheduled for October 20th at the Valley City, North Dakota Eagles Club. This fun event begins with a social at 5, followed by a delicious dinner, and a very lively auction takes place following the night's keynote speaker, Jeff Gould, telling America's story. Uplifting, touching, and profound, it's a presentation that inspires listeners to consider the sacrifice and blessing of our nation's history. Tickets for this event available at northdakotakowboy.org. East Greets West, October 20th at the Valley City Eagles Club.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next auction. Coming up on Tuesday, October 10th, is the Ed Williams Farm Retirement Auction out of Baker, Montana. On Wednesday, October 11th, multiple tracts of land in Bottineau County, Rolette County, Burke County, and Ward and McHenry counties. Also a farmstead in Glenburn, North Dakota. Coming up on October 18th and 19th, Pfeiffer's 18th Annual West Dakota Land Auction. For more information, go to pfeifers.com. Dakota Community Bank and Trust Foundation Female Program awards recipients with an interest-free loan to purchase 5 bred heifers and assist area youth in establishing their own cattle herd. Applicants must be youth currently enrolled in 7th or 8th grade and at least 13 years of age and must reside within a 100-mile radius of any Dakota Community Bank and Trust branch. Deadline to apply is Friday, October 13th. Contact a branch near you. The Foundation Female Program, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
East Greets West, an annual fundraiser for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, scheduled for October 20th at the Valley City, North Dakota Eagles Club. This fun event begins with a social at 5, followed by a delicious dinner, and a very lively auction takes place following the night's keynote speaker, Jeff Gould telling America's story. Uplifting, touching, and profound, it's a presentation that inspires listeners to consider the sacrifice and blessing of our nation's history. Tickets for this event available at NorthDakotaCowboy.org. East greets West, October 20th at the Valley City Eagles Club.
Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition continues all across the Dakota Territory and around the world on my live YouTube channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. And a big thanks to Benny Paulson and his band Breaking 8 for giving me permission to use that music each and every Saturday here. And I was actually finishing hauling when I wanted to finish, but I still got a load and 3 bales left to go yet. And I was using his music to keep me rolling down the road in the semi. Clay Peterson, Jamie Brecht, my guest from the guys from the Guns in the 701. I got to go back here, Jamie, before we get an argument about trails. I got to go back here.
I'm probably going to agree with you.
Probably, but not many people will. But it's different if you live out in the here when you got a lot of Forest Service property surrounding it out. First, we got to back it up a little bit. So Eric out of Priaire, he says, I started Joseph, his kid, off shooting a 410 pump. Then he tried to keep it in his closet with his shells. He said, I was mad at him, and then I bought a safe to put all the guns in instead of the cabinet. But now it's one of his favorite memories of his young kid. He lost his kid in an accident a couple years ago. So, and then we got you asked how much was that gun?
Yeah, 410.
Jim says, I bought that for 10 at the gun shop in Miller, South Dakota, about 4 years ago for around $200.
Okay, that's a little more than I thought, but I mean, everything costs more under the great Joe Biden economy.
Well,
so
I don't think the cost of the firearm that you're going to start your kid out should have. I think there's other things to think about. You know,
yeah, I'm just saying. I thought a new one was like $110.
Holy cow! How old you are, there, Jamie? When's the last time you bought a shotgun? Man.
Well, single shot was when Kmart was still open. So.
Let's see here. Matt Herman says, after the warden leaves our class, we'll have an ethics discussion about utilizing the game we take and the difference between being legal and being ethical.
That'd be great discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, I updated. I don't know if you saw that, Scott. I updated.
Just popped up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I looked it up on the Game and Fish website for North Dakota. All it says about basically being legal as far as firearms, legal firearms and ammunition, game birds and waterfowl, only firearms no smaller than a 410 gauge and no larger than a 10 gauge loaded with shot capable of holding more than 3 shells. That's all it said. So I would say pistol grips are good.
All right, so we're going to go on to this before we get into the trails. What's your guys' take on having a plug-in or not, 3 versus unlimited? That's no such thing as unlimited. There's always going to be a limit. But on certain things, you can take your plug out, and certain things you got to have it in. And I think it's I don't know. What's your take on that? I don't know how I feel about it. You know?
I would say this: if you can't hit it with 3 shots, I don't care if you got some shotguns take a drum mag. I don't care if you got a drum mag, and if you can't hit them in 3, they're probably gone and out of your range anyway.
Now hold on.
To me, it doesn't really matter.
Right? Okay, I get it. When the limits. If the bird limit is 3, let's say we're morning dove hunting and the limit's 15, or we're early Canada goose hunting and the limit is 15. Why can't you have more? If you have a whole bunch of Canadian geese or Canada geese coming in your way, and there's they're dropping on you, why shouldn't you be able to have more? I think you actually can. Can you do that in waterfall or not? I think you can. It's been so long since I've been up to Devil's Lake and shot, but I think is it waterfall that you can have more than 3?
Well, I think on the left-fronted geese, where they're trying to really control that population, I think and I don't know if it's the spring or the fall season, but then you can have an unplugged gun.
Right. I knew it was one of them, but I mean, take mourning dove, for instance. Okay. 15. Why can't I have an 8-shot 410 or a 20 gauge or a 12 gauge for that matter?
Scott, I'm with you. I've never believed in the plug option in my shotgun. It doesn't matter. I mean, I can tell you right now, I usually probably don't take more than 3 shots even if I miss the first 2, because they're too far out by then. I just don't understand the idea, other than I think it was probably a blanket rule, like they always do, make a cookie cutter rule, and no discretion whatsoever given to anybody for public lands. I suppose, I've seen some public land or, taxpayer owned land where you get a lot of guys out there, and it kind of sounds like a war zone depending on where it is and what they're hunting. And I suppose that's where that came about, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Matt says that unplugged for spring goose only. And Eric says that 870 I bought used this year was $400, and then he thinks that shouldn't need to have a plug for anything.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Damn if it's leaking.
Well, here's the thing: is why would they make it if you can put more? If you truly believe that you can't hit, 3's enough, then just use a double barrel.
There you go.
Well, think of it this way, Scott. I told you I prefer bird hunting with a single shot, right? But I'm also a huge AR-15 guy. But and round count doesn't matter. I like as many rounds as you want. I'm with Eric. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if my deer rifle got it right with me right here. It's not deer season, but I'm going to shoot it this weekend. Got a 10-round magazine. I have 10 rounds in there. That doesn't mean I'm going to shoot 10 rounds at a deer. It usually takes 1 or 2, and by the time I get to 10, this sucker would be probably out of range anyway. So,
yeah.
And everybody carries an extra box of shells with them or cartridges. So, why not just have in your magazine instead of having to carry your box around?
So I have a Remington 270 I bought off a guy years ago. I used it for, I bought like 5 boxes of ammo for it, because that's what I do. When I buy a rifle, I'm going to buy ammo, right?
Yeah.
And I have taken 5 deer with it, and I've shot 5 shots out of that whole thing, the whole time. All right. And
that's pretty good.
But don't get me wrong. I like sneaking up close. I like that. I'm a spot and stalker kind of guy. So it wasn't like super long shots or anything like that, but now I'm sitting there with all this extra ammo because, I think it took 3 to sight it in, and then 5 shots. I got 8 out of the first box of 20 done. And now the ammo's just getting there dry rotted at this time. But anyway, let's get on. Let's go. Jamie, tell me about trails. Before I get all huffy and puffy, you tell me your thing about trails.
Well, I'm just telling you what I was told by Game and Fish, because we have hunting shacks, and then I think I heard you talking about established trails on your show once, and I'm like, that's a thing on private property? I called Game and Fish, and she said, yeah, you can't, during deer season, you can't drive out to unless there's an established trail. And then I asked the person at Game and Fish, and I'm like, what's established? And she wouldn't give me a right answer. And I said, well, it's private property. Why would I park our side-by-side and then walk a mile out to on our private land that's law. It kind of got hoppy with me. And I'm like, well, I'm going to make sure this trail is established. And I called, I think it was when they were still on Wednesdays on KFYR, and the guy on there, I don't remember but I told him that about the seeing it from Google Earth. He's like, well, it sounds reasonable to me. And I'm like, well, reasonable and what you guys think is, I need to know, So I got established trail in my mind. It's established. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's your take on it?
Right.
It's private land. I don't even think you need a trail, in my opinion.
I agree. Private land is private. If they want to come on there and say you can't drive there, bull. I fence. You chase cows. You do everything you can. You got to go where you got to go. Okay, but if I'm gonna shoot a deer and it's like, it's my land. If it's private property, that deer's gonna be gotten as soon as I can, so that meat tastes as best as it can. It's not like I'm using my 4-wheeler to go hunt the deer. It's to go to retrieve that thing, right?
And I think that's what they're thinking. like you're going to drive up to them and shoot them, which again, if it's private property, I don't care if you do that, but I see what they're saying there. My beef with it was, like, I'm going to park and walk on private property a mile to a hunting shack that we built on private property. Not happening.
Exactly.
Not happening.
Now, when it comes to Forest Service ground, I don't even call it public ground anymore because it's Forest Service. Public has no say in what we can or can't do on it. It's the Forest Service that has the say on it. Okay, trails. Established trails. They're supposed to stay on established trails, but you take the one guy on his side-by-side that wants, instead of staying on the trail, he wants to just drive the edge of the canyons so he can look down in there without getting out of the side-by-side. Well, you make that little impression on the grass, and then the next 28 people see that, and they start driving, and eventually it becomes an established trail, which is not supposed to be that way, but that's how things are now. In some of this Forest Service property around us, there's trails everywhere. It looks terrible, you know. And then you get people, especially if it's too wet or too dry or whatever. It's a scary situation, especially for fires. So, but yeah,
that should be established trails on something like that. Then I mean, you mark it and say stay on the trails or something. I agree with that. I don't, you know. I don't like people who go ride side by sides in the mountains. Even people I know that are heavy into their razors and whatnot, they don't like it when people go off the trails there.
Yeah,
you know, it gives them a bad name.
Yep. Okay, so we're not far off on the trail thing. Clay, what's up?
No, yeah, I'm like right here. You know, I've got a couple of allotments that go with this place here that are the grasslands. And but they had a sign up there. I don't know what happened to it, but it used to say wheeled motorized access restricted, which meant to the established trail within. The only trail in that particular piece, it's 2 quarters, was one out to the water tank when I go out and check and drop salt and stuff like that. I don't know if that's still the rule, but I know there's no sign up there anymore. Is that similar to what you got up there with the Forest Service tax-funded land?
No, they took all those signs away because they got public pressure about, we want to be able to drive out there. We want to be able to enjoy it. We can't, you know, that's the biggest thing that I have an issue of. If you're going to come out here and hunt, and instead of cutting through my private property, that's private property, and they have no easements across it, and there's no way stop at the corner where there's already federal ground and walk. Yeah. You know, because access means things different than everybody. To me, access means I have access to enter it, and if that's walking, I can still enter it. In some people's minds, it means I want to bring my pickup and camper and my ATVs out here, and I should be able to go through your private property to get there. And some places they are, and some places they're not allowed. But I think that's the problem is, you know, what was it back 10, 15 years ago? The Forest Service is trying to do the road management update. They're trying to update these maps.
Right.
And it's been shut down by the public so many times, and the private owners are like, yeah, let's update these, because even in our place, they're showing trails going into places where if you take that trail, you are going to fall off a 100-foot cliff. I mean, it's got eroded out and it's done. It's no longer there. And they had these trails from back in the, 60s, 70s, 80s, and all that kind of stuff. They haven't been updated forever. And they do need to update that, because there were, even during the 80s, there was some land trade, some surface, you know, they traded some stuff out. So now that's not Federal Forest Service anymore. And they didn't have the idea back then to get easements to allow access, and they didn't on a lot of it, especially south of the interstate. So, but anyway, that's my thing. Wayne says, can you ride pedal mountain bikes off the trail? On Forest Service ground, I don't know that answer. I don't know, because you see a lot of these. I would say it depends on the pedal bike, because if it's one of those
electric ones, like John has,
that's a motorized vehicle. In my mind, right? If you have just a regular pedal bike, I think you'd be all right. Eric says that my daughter used a single shot 410 on her first turkey, and I'm telling you right now, the 410s right now are winning it over your guys' 20 gauges. Okay.
Hey, I started my boys off with 410s. But yeah, you know, you get back to the trail thing. I see it all the time here, and you probably see it way worse than I do, except I have better roads that probably go around ours because they're main roads. But yeah, so many of these guys, I see them out there driving, in tall grass, you know, when they shouldn't be. I mean, I know they can start a fire instantly. It's very frustrating. Or like I have one piece that's intermingled. There's a piece of Indian land, and then there's a piece of deeded land, which is ours. Of course, there's no fence across that because I grazed the whole pasture. And then I'll put a sign up, and I'll actually get told that, oh, you can't post this because on their damn Onyx, guess what? It shows that whole entire piece is reservation land, and it's not. That's another issue we run into. Same with the trails. So, guys, please check it out. That's all I can tell people. Yeah. Check everything out before you hunt. Go see if the trail exists. See if it's private land. See if it's, you know, not. Make sure you're checking everything out before you hunt, but I know a lot of them don't.
Well, and Onyx, and that's why I switched to base map. It seems like base map usually has things updated a little bit better. Not always, but they can only update it when the county updates it.
Absolutely, yes.
You know, so
I got base map as well.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
Ed's not there, by the way, anymore. Did you know that?
Good.
So he quit.
I know he did. I know he told me what was going on there. All right. So go ahead.
I'll give you a quick temperature update right here. Just a little west of Zap. It's 28 degrees right here.
Zip to Zap. I was not old enough for that, but I heard stories. All right, here's a hot button here. We only got a few minutes left, guys, here. Hot button topic. Can or should you be able to fish public water over private land?
That happened in South Dakota. Yeah. You know, I look at it like this, Gene. I know they pay taxes on that land. And what he's talking about is when the water comes up and floods it, should you be able to fish that? I don't know. I know the land's being paid on taxes. Should you be able to enter it from the private land that it's covering? No. Should you be able to fish over the top of it? Well, I don't know. I have no clue what the answer is on that.
How could they get public fishing or a public pond without having access? Well, who designed that?
Well, what they're talking about is you got those big areas, say, way east over there in South Dakota by Waugh Bay.
Oh, yeah.
And, and then you got the high water marks law, which is actually in South Dakota codified law, where you can enter through the high water mark wherever that may have been. So there's a lot of issues there that need to be clarified, and they still haven't fixed that issue, by the way, in South Dakota.
Bottom line, cross over private land, you need permission. Bottom line.
That's probably how it should be, yeah.
No matter what happens to the water. You know, I mean, does that mean, you know, you go to the high water mark? Okay, does that mean if it dries out, does that landowner get to go extend his field that much further? No.
No.
What if you take a drone and then hang your line and jig off it and go over the water and then jig with your drone?
Hey, you guys laugh, but I guarantee somebody's going to press the issue on that. Eventually, we're going to hear a story about that.
Well, I'd like to know.
Northern grabs and yanks the drone under the water then.
When I always hear the word public waters, I'd like to know who gave the states the rights to just take control of water. I mean, they can pass a law and give themselves the right, but it's not their water. It never was their water. So that's one that's always, talk about grind my gears, is when states and government take control of something they had no right to.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Woter's here. Brian says, just for anyone that may know him, longtime local cowboy, teacher, and saddle maker Rex Cook passed away on Thursday at the age of 95. Still roping and branding this past spring. Rex, Godspeed to you there. Thanks for letting us know about that, Brian.
That's a good run right there. 95 years, and you're still out doing brandings and working cattle. 95, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, on a side note, much as I don't like giving Biden credit for anything, the meat puppet actually signed a bill that put back in funding for hunter safety and archery in schools. That was taken out in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, Clay. But yeah, I guess I'll thank Joe for that.
You know, I think that when I took hunter safety, it was in school. It was in our country school. And now they don't allow anything near the schools. I wish they would teach it. You know, it was required. Like all of the kids had to take it, whether you hunted or not. And I think it's a good idea because at least it teaches you safety. Like if you find a pistol on the playground, right, you know how to properly handle it to take it to somebody.
Well, I always say this, Scott. I was forced to take golf when I was in gym class, and I can't stand golf. So, and I still had to take it. And if you don't like guns or hunting, you should still take hunter safety. And it's actually a life skill, not something you go out and do and drink beer on the golf course.
Okay, now you're invited next year to the Cowboy Hall of Fame golf tournament. Hey, you're taking a Thursday off next next September. I'll get you the dates here when they get it to you.
Yeah, let's do it.
You'll find the good side of it here. But guys, give us a little information. Clay, where can they find the guns in the 701 and all that good information before we got to leave here?
Yeah, hit our website, gunsin701.com. A lot of information there, all our past episodes as well. And of course, we can hit us on Facebook, same name, and on YouTube. That's our three main places that people find us, and everything you need is right there at those places. 6:00 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday night, 7:00 Central.
Jamie, what are you hunting today? You got 10 seconds to tell us.
You bet. Going out with my friends here shortly, a couple miles from the farm, hunting some pheasants, going to do some target shooting, and sounds like the beavers are back, so I'm going to be trying to put some holes in them.
All right, well, have fun with the blind guy. I hope you can hit something.
I'll let you know. Awesome videos up on our channel, so check it out.
Sounds good. Clay and Jamie, Guns in the 701. Check them out if you want to on their website and social media. As for me, have yourself a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk, wear wool and fur. That was what I had to add in from last week. Have a good one, everybody. All right. Well, Jamie hung up ready. Clay, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. That was a good show.
Yeah.
It goes fast, though, don't it?
It does. Yeah, it does. I mean, an hour is nothing. Well, not even an hour. I mean, when you add the breaks and everything, and you're only at 40 minutes, I guess. You know?
Yeah. And I like when we do like a podcast, the only breaks we take is if we have a couple sponsors we need to do something with, and that's it. Yeah. We went 2 hours the other night.
Oh, yeah. And that's when you know it's a interactive show, is when it continues on like that, you know.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've had a lot of good reviews already from people. They said it was a great show. Wayne, he chimed in and he called Jamie and thought it was a great show. There's a lot of it. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yep,
and
no
thanks
worries.
for having us on.
You bet. Well,
like
I got word that we got past we hit a sand rock with the trenching equipment.
Ooh.
We got the backhoe and we dug and we dug and we dug, and it is 80 plus foot long. It is 9.5 foot wide and 5 foot thick.
Oh my goodness.
So we're gonna go skip over it until the Forest Service allows us to either bore underneath it or go around it or whatever we can do. So we skipped over it, and we're gonna just keep trenching from there and keep going and putting line in and seeing what they're gonna give us permission to do.
Yeah, that's about all you can do. I mean, the only other thing, if they make you go through that, plotted approved area, you're gonna have to get you'd have to get something that you can jackhammer through it, but that isn't economically feasible or even doable, probably.
Well, that's gonna be tough, man. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You never say just hydrojet under it. I'm like, we have no water here. That's why we're putting a water line in, you know.
Yeah, they don't quite get that.
No, they don't. They have no clue what's going on. So
unbelievable.
But yeah, I got that. I'm gonna run down and help do that. Probably help there as long as we can get going there and a few things, and then.
Yeah, I get done here. The boys, I can hear everybody stirring upstairs. So I know they're up. But we're gonna head over and start bringing cows home, and then sort them off, give the calves their shots, and get them ready, and sort our replacements off, and then turn them back out. And I'll be loading up on the 14th, taking them to Bowman. So yeah.
So we're gonna.
You're right. I talked to Austin Visser. Heck of a good guy.
He came over and swung over to your place.
He did. Yep.
Good.
Got a hold of him, and
yeah,
just and he took some videos and whatnot. Really a solid guy. And then I found out that we kind of knew each other, just didn't really know it. He's part of the Farm Bureau. So he was up at the Young Farmer Rancher Conference. I was up there too, and he said, I thought I knew you. Of course, he knows Cheech and everybody we know.
Yeah.
So it was good to do business with some of them guys. I tell you what, they got a heck of a good plan to take that to market somewhere. So hopefully that where this works out, and they'll have a lifelong customer if things go well, you know.
Yeah, hopefully they keep on doing what they've already been doing. There's no doubt.
Yes.
All right, I got to call him here. He left me a message yesterday about finalizing a few things.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'll let you go, and I'm gonna get to work. So that's why I didn't go up to Jamie's this weekend, but I figured I better get this done. So.
Yeah, no problem, man. You have yourself a good one.
You too. Catch you later.
You bet. See you. All right. Stations. Well, I guess the rest of the folks listening in here, Scott, well, most of the time they tell you to go